Dear students, welcome to QC first year biology class. In the previous classes, we have studied one of the kingdoms called the Monera, the another kingdom called the Protista. In that, some of the examples of the Protista we have seen. And the third kingdom called the fungi. Fungi group we are going to study today. The fungi group is you can see in the diagram. Example is mushroom. If you remember mushroom as an example, you can remember the kingdom fungi. It is unique kingdom of heterotrophic organisms. In this kingdom, heterotrophic organisms are present. They looks like plant but not plants. Looks like plant but not plants. You can say fungi are cosmopolitan. Cosmopolitan means they can be seen at any places and occur in air, water, soil, and on animals and plants as well as on plants. See, this is one of the unique character these have. They perform to grow in warm and humid places also. Sorry, they prefer. They prefer to grow in warm and humid places. Example, bread mold, orange rods, mushroom, toadstools, etc. White spots on the mustard leaves are due to the parasitic fungus. You can see here white patches are there on the leaves. It's because of the fungus. You can see when we take the bread, keep it in the moist places for some days, what will happen? You can observe the bread in this way, isn't it or not? If you leave it, you can see in this way. These are the nothing but the fungi that is growing on the bread, which is bread mold, we can also say. So this is how it will happen. It's all because of the fungi. So you can say fungi, it is a unique kingdom of heterotrophic organism. These fungi are cosmopolitan in nature. They occur in air, water, soil, on the animals and plants. They prefer to grow in warm and humid places. Some of the examples are bread mold, orange rods, mushroom, toadstools are the examples of the. Some fungi are sources of antibiotics. We extract the products from them which are used for the beneficial of the human beings, and out of that, one of the extraction that is being done from that is the antibiotic. We extract antibiotic, what we say penicillin. We get the penicillin injection. Yeah, that is extracted from the Penicillium notatum plant. From the Penicillium notatum plant, we extract the penicillium, and when that is being taken by the human being, it will inhibit the growth of the bacteria. It will stop the growth of the bacteria. Therefore, it is called antibiotics. So that is being used by the human being. Some unicellular fungi like yeast are used to make bread and other beer. In brewing industries, yeast powder is being added. Baker yeast, we say, in the bakeries, for making the bread soft, and they add the yeast, which is nothing but the fungi group. And for the preparation of the beer, this yeast is being added. The other fungi causes diseases at the same time. They also causes diseases in the plants and animals. Wheat rust causing Fuchsinia, you can say is wheat rust. In the earlier picture, you have seen how the patches are being formed on the leaves. So here you can see in the diagram third, like this patches are being formed, which causes diseases in the plants. Some of the examples, penicillium, yeast are the examples for the group called the fungi. Except yeast, fungi are filamentous. Their bodies consist of long, slender, thread-like structure called hyphae. They get attached. Filamentous means they get attached to the substratum. The network of the hyphae is known as mycelium. Some hyphae are continuous tubes filled with multinucleated cytoplasm. These are called oncocytic hyphae. Others have septa or cross walls in the hyphae. In the diagram, you can see the mycelium. This part is called the mycelium, and this part is called the hyphae. And say this will be having the cytoplasm. The hyphae are having the cytoplasm. Fungal cell wall is made up of chitin. The cell wall of the fungi is made up of chitin, or it is made up of polysaccharide, as well as it is made up of polysaccharide. This is how the fungi's characters are there. Most of the fungi are saprophytic. They absorb soluble organic matter from dead substrates. Dead and decaying organic matter, they get the substances. Uh, they extract the food from them. One of the example is mushroom, where they will be growing on the tree trunk, branches of the tree, moist places, on the compound, on the manure. At these places, they will be growing. How do they get food? They are non-photosynthetic. They do not prepare their food. Therefore, they are called the heterotrophs, mainly saprophytes. Some are parasitic in nature. Some lives in as symbionts. Some live as a symbiote in association with algae as lichens. These fungi live along with the algae, and that type of relationship is called symbiotic relationship. We can say symbiotic relationship is a type of relationship in which they have the association with another organism for survival. Example, algae and fungi. Algae and fungi relationship is called the symbiotic association, that is known as lichens, and with the roots of higher plants as mycorrhiza. Here, algae provides the food and fungi provides the nutrition that is required. In such cases, both the organisms can grow. So that is called the symbiotic type of association. The type of reproduction which is being seen in the fungi is vegetative propagation, asexual reproduction, and sexual reproduction. In the vegetative propagation, there are again further three types are there: fragmentation, fission, and budding formation. Let us see what are these then. Asexual reproduction can be seen in the fungi by spores, what we say conidia or sporangiospores or zoospores. By the formation of the spores involved in this, you can see conidia. Here you can see the conidia spores germinates and grows into new fungi. Sexual reproduction is by the oospores, Ascospores and basidospores. They are produced in distinct structures called fruiting bodies. They will be having the fruiting bodies. One of the example you can see here is this is mushroom. Mushroom here. Here on the surface, fruiting bodies will be there. They are the spores, get germinated. Mycelia is formed. Primordias are formed, and further the mushroom is being formed. This is how sexually these organisms are produced. The sexual cycle involves three steps. One is plasmogamy, fusion of protoplasm between two motile or non-motile gametes. Formation, fusion of the protoplasm takes place between the non-motile gametes. Karyogamy, fusion of two nuclei, breaking down of the one nuclei into two. Fusion of the two nuclei into one. Fusion. Fission means breaking. Fusion means joining. Meiosis occurs in zygote, resulting in haploid spores. Haploid spores, it is occurring. You can see here in the diagram. Zygote formation, meiosis, spores formed, hyphae, spores are there, plasmogamy, and here karyogamy takes place. This is the life cycle of the what we say sexual. In sexual reproduction, two haploid hyphae come together and fuse. In some fungi, fusion of two haploid cells immediately form diploid cells. In other fungi, Eschimocetes and Basidomycetes, these are the groups. A dikaryotic stage or dikaryophase occurs. Such a condition is called dikaryon, N plus N here, in two nuclei per cell. Two nuclei are being formed per cell. It is called dikaryon. Later, parental nuclei fuse and the cells become diploid. Fungi form fruiting bodies in which reduction division occurs, leading to formation of haploid spores. Haploid spores are being formed. And this is how the sexual type of reproduction takes place in the fungi group. Based on the morphology of mycelium, mode of spore formation, and fruiting bodies, fungi are further classified into various classes like class Phycomycetes, class Ascospores, class Decidomycetes, class Dichiromycetes. I repeat once again, morphological, the fungi are classified into four groups: Phycomycetes, Ascospores, Basidomycetes, and Dichiromycetes. First one, Phycomycetes, it is called lower fungi. They occur in aquatic habitats and on decaying wood in moist and damp places, or as obligate parasites on plants. The mycelium is aseptate and conchonotic. Example is mucor, rhizopus, what we say bread mold, and albugo, which is the parasitic fungi which grows on the mustard, are the examples of that Phycomycetes group. These are the examples you can see. Asexual, the type of reproduction takes place is asexually takes place by formation of the zoospores, which are motile, or by aplanospores, which are non-motile. These are produced in sporangium. Type of sexual reproduction that is seen is zygospores are formed by fusion of two gametes. These gametes are isogamous, which are similar in structure, or anisogamous, which are dissimilar in structure. This is how the type of reproduction takes place in that. And second is in that Ascospores. They are also called sac fungi. They are unicellular. Yeast is an example which you can remember very easily, which is multicellular, which you can remember is Penicillium. They are saprophytic, decomposers, parasite, or coprophilous, growing on dung. Mycelium is branched and septate. Is septate. This is, you can see the examples. Yes. Type of reproduction. Asexual reproduction by conidia produced exogenously on the special mycelium called conidiospores. Conidia germinate to produce mycelium. Mycelia are being formed from that. And the sexual type of reproduction which we can see in the Ascospores is by ascospores. The spores that are produced are called ascospores, produced endogenously in a sac-like structure. Therefore, they are called sac fungi. These spores are being produced in the sac-like structure. Asci are arranged to form ascocarps, fruiting bodies. Example is aspergillus is example. Neurospore is another. Many members like murals or buffers are edible and are delicious food. They are being used as a delicious food. You can see this. And another group is called the Basidiomycetes. Includes mushrooms. Mushrooms comes under this. The bracket fungi or puff balls, you can see here in the last diagram, you can see puff balls. They grow in soil. They can grow in soil or on logs and tree stumps and in living plant bodies as parasites, rust and smuts. Mycelium is branched and septate. The asexual spores are generally not found, but vegetative reproduction by fragmentation is very common in Basidomycetes group. And example, mushrooms, they are also being used as food. Sex organs are absent, but plasmogamy occurs by fusion of two vegetative or somatic cells of different strains or genotypes. The resultant structure is dikaryotic. It gives rise to basidium. Periogamy and meiosis occurs in basidium, producing four basidiospores exogenously. Basidia are arranged in fruiting bodies called basidiocarps. One of the example, agaricus. Agaricus, they are commonly called mushrooms. There are different types of mushrooms are there. Some of the mushrooms are used as food And some of the mushrooms are very poisonous. Even they can kill the human being. Poisonous also there. So edible mushrooms also there, which are being used as a food, and some of them are non-edible, which are poisonous. Another group and the last group of the fungi is Deuteromycetes. They are commonly called imperfect fungi because in their life cycle they cannot complete their life. Therefore, they are called imperfect fungi because only their asexual or vegetative phases are known. Other phase is not known. Sexual phase is not known. Therefore, they are also called imperfect fungi. When perfect stages were discovered, they were often moved to Ascospores or Basidomycetes. When the sexual part of the life cycle is seen, they move on to the Ascospores group or Basidomycetes. They do not remain in the Dichirotic. Therefore, they are called imperfect fungi. It is also possible that the asexual and vegetative stage have been given one name and placed under Dichirotic, and the sexual stage another and placed under the another class called the Ascospores or Basidomycetes. When the linkage were established, the fungi were correctly identified and moved out of the Deuteromycetes. They moved to the another group. These are the examples. Deuteromycetes reproduce only by asexual spores, conidia formation. Mycelium is septate and branched. Some are saprophytes or parasite. Majority are decomposers of litter and help in mineral recycling. They help in the recycling of the minerals. Alternaria, Coletotrichum, and Trichoderma are the examples of the Deuteromycetes. This is the third group or the third kingdom called the fungi group. With this, we'll complete here. And the rest kingdom Plantia we'll see in the next chapter, next classes. We'll see about